Do you get that ominous feeling? What's this gonna be this time? Take a guess? Not really. Let's just face this. One of the most challenging bosses on harder difficulties. In this difficulty, not really. Gyalva, the Tyrant of the Blazing Prison. He likes to flip over the floor and hit you with spikes. He also likes to shoot up the floor so you can hit him. You can hit him with your sword, but I generally prefer doing this. You can actually get off a no damage run against him fairly easily. Just hang to the side. And the only time you ever really want to get on these tiles, so watch him. Ow. Okay, well you do want to dodge that. But almost all of his attacks, you only want to worry about getting near him when it's directly over this section right here. The little walkway. If he's off to one side, anything he does will be to try and hurt you as much as anything else. As you can see though, he's not nearly as much of a threat as Gular, as even though he does have more health, takes a lot more damage. Ow. Yeah, I'm dumb about this fight a lot of times. I remember this was the first fight that really made me just get so frustrated and have to stop playing for a while. I'm definitely doing a lot better against it now than I was that time, though. But doing 13 damage every time as opposed to 1 damage every time. Yeah. Sometimes you'll see I sort of get underneath him even though he's not in the right spot. It's because he does have another attack that he hasn't been using, where he will send out little blades of fire that don't flip these over, and they're pretty hard to dodge if you're not somewhere where you can move. But we'll only need one more pass, and it'll be dead. Maybe one more. But there we go, and Gyalva is no more. And what do we have? Another statue. Come on, statue. Come here. The sunset statue was so freaking obtained. Let's take a look at that statue. Sunset statue. A statue which was found in the lava pits said to hold unlimited power. And it looks like Gyalva. Just like that looks like. And look at it, just going back and forth, looks so cool. Oh, anyway, so yeah, just like this one looks like Elfvale, this looks like Gyalva. Very similar wings, an orb, and a little tail, but the bodies change. And the colors change, and the writing. Okay, so lots of stuff changes. Either way, it looks really cool. But we're totally done with this place for now. So, we'll just want to kick it. No more treasures to find, no more enemies to fight. Just a nice little victory lap home. Does area look familiar? Should. We're back in Ilburns, which is a nice sight. Because, well, remember how I said that spot we'd be happy to see again? Oh, yeah, we don't want to fall. Charge up. Yay! Ah! Well, that's annoying. Bah, we'll come back to that in a little bit. But for now, this was that spot. And now we have a little bit of dialogue. That was faster than I'd anticipated. It still says things like a man's voice even with the voice acting, which is bad. But, I had every confidence that you'd make it back alive. And with the statue, no less. I must admit, I'm impressed. Now, hand them over. Both of them. Don't bother playing dumb. I know you're the one that defeated that creature in the quarry. Jester, don't! And there's Doki. Elena and Doki. why have you come here? Sister Nell told us that Otto had come here to look for Father Pierre. Doki had just come back and was going to follow him, so I came too. Man, it just never lets up. I didn't have the right equipment for mountain climbing, and I got swarmed by monsters to boot. So I went back to town to regroup and try again, and they tell me that the mayor's been hurt, and Otto's gone off to the ruins. And Chester, you've been missing for 6 months? Chester, it doesn't matter to me that you've become one of Count McGuire's knights. No matter what people say you've done, you're still my brother. If it's what you want, I would never stand in your way. But why? Why are you doing this? Why would you kidnap a priest or try to hurt Otto? And how come you never even tried to let me know you were alive? Is that all you have to say? I left that place because I found the menial existence it offered utterly repugnant. I wasn't elated at the prospect of forever looking after you either, Elena. What? I felt that if I became one of McGuire's knights, I would move up in the world and be able to accomplish something. I wanted to live a real life rather than a peasant's existence in some backwater town. It was a weight dragging me down, Elena. You, the town, the past that surrounds me, all of it. Well, what are you saying? Chester, you son of a bitch! What the hell do you think you're doing? I'm not finished either. You were hardly in a position to judge me, Doki. I simply chose the same path in life you did. Or did you conveniently forget about when you left Redmond 8 years ago? Yeah, he can't really say a lot to that. None of us are children anymore. I've decided to let you keep the statues for a while. I know they'll be kept safe in your care. Oh, Chester. As I said, I became one of Count McGuire's knights to rid myself of my past. That includes you, Dogi. You are no longer a part of my life. I suggest you get used to it, and you don't want to find out what will happen if you try to stand in my way. So yeah, some serious bad blood going on here. I can't believe what happened in the ruins. I mean, what can Chester possibly be thinking? Mayor, I hate to say this, but we have larger concerns at the moment. The closure of the quarry is bad enough, but to threaten a priest on top of that? Chester's a factor, yes, but I think our first priority should be McGuire. Yes, you're right. Bishop Nicholas, might you have any idea what Count McGuire is after? I'm afraid not, but then he's never been one to talk openly about his affairs to me. His wife and their children were the only ones at morning mass, but I can't believe he'd try to claim authority beyond that of the church. So then, what should we do about Father Pierre, Your Excellency? As head of the Felghana diocese, it's my duty to see the well-being of all members of the clergy. When I return to the castle, I intend to have a talk with the Count. And don't worry, I'm sure I'll be able to get Pierre released soon. I see. Well, do what you can. I'm also concerned about these statues the Count McGuire has Chester looking for. May I see them for a moment, Otto? Otto handed over the statues. Oh. So the big critters had these statues? I sense an unusual power from them. It's possible that they are directly connected to the recent appearance of the monsters. Well, what? Yeah, big surprise. What do you mean by that? Well, what do you mean by that? Well, this is pure conjecture on my part, but they were found in the quarry and in the ruins. Both of them were recently found to be full of the monsters. Each was guarded by a large, powerful creature as well. Doesn't that strike you as more than mere coincidence? Perhaps you're right. That being the case, it would be very foolish to allow the Count to get his hands on them. I think we should safeguard them until we know exactly what's happening. What's wrong, Dewey? Nothing. I just get the feeling I've seen those statues somewhere before. Well, what? Come on, out with it, Dewey. Oh, I remember now. There was a mural down inside the old abandoned mine that had pictures of them on it. What mural was this? There's an old deep section of the Tigray quarry that we exhausted long ago. It's been closed off ever since. Somewhere in there was an ancient-looking mural that someone had left behind, who knows how long ago. It showed 4 statues that looked a lot like these. My God. Well, this certainly bears investigating. All right. Hey, Otto, why don't we split our efforts? I think I have an idea. I'll get my stuff together and go back to the Elder Mountains, and you head to the abandoned mine. Ah, you plan to see Berhard. Yeah, my old master. He knows more about Felghana's legends and folklore than anyone I know, so he might have some info for us. Plus, he might have heard something about Chester. Yeah, he also trained Chester in how to use a sword. I get the feeling he might have some idea why Chester's acting the way he is. I will return to the castle and talk to Chester. Hopefully I can get him to release Father Pierre. I'll also see if I can gather any information about those statues. Good, we're counting on you. See you later, Otto. I'll leave the abandoned mine up to you. Afterwards, I'd appreciate if you could check in on Elena. I can't stand to see her looking so pitiful. And almost everyone leaves? All right, Otto. The entrance to the abandoned mine is near the storehouse to the north of where the path forks, where we went earlier. We'll get the door open for you, so make sure you're well prepared before going in there. Are you sure that's wise? The monsters are one thing, but what if soldiers from Valestein Castle show up here too? It won't be a problem. As soon as the door's open, we'll come straight back to town. All right, Otto, we'll be waiting for you. Dewey walks out. Investigating the old mine will probably be quite dangerous. You should try to improve your weapons and armor if you can. And some extra revolve, which I won't be using for that. Be careful down there. The entrance to the abandoned mine is right by the storehouse. Be careful, Otto. But we have some other things to do. Oh god, this is so much better. I feel so stilted when I'm not doing this. It is locked, because Elena doesn't really want to see anyone right now. Let's give him some Reval ore. Oh, you have it all? Will you sell 50 Reval to me for 2,500 gold? Alright, the deal is done. Here's your 2,500 gold. I can't believe you've gotten so much Reval ore in times like these. You're really something else. If you have any spare Reval ore in the future, I'll buy it from you. And next will be, maybe if you have 200 Reval? What do you say? Come on, I really need to make this transaction. Let's talk to him too. Apparently the local Lord of Felghana is a nobleman from the Roman Empire. I'd like to get a Roman noble to sponsor my work here. I don't know much about Count McGuire, though. You know, Felghana is pretty remote, really. Being sent here is probably a pretty big deal. Yeah, it means they want to get rid of you, because you're a jerk. Why he's a jerk? You'll see that in a bit. Hey Hugo, are you ready yet? We're gonna play house and he's gonna be the daddy. I'll be the mommy and the Pickards are gonna be our babies. Heh, aren't they cute? It's my job to take care of the Pickards. I've never let them get sick, not once. I take my job seriously, just like an adult. It's my job to take it in, and he says it again. Squeaks! No, they're so cute. Do you know about the island out in Siena Bay? There used to be a small village there a long time ago. The whole place was supposedly wiped out by some kind of epidemic, though. Don't know much about the islanders, but isn't that just terrible? Oh, it is. Let's talk to Cynthia. Ever since the tragedy, hardly anyone goes there anymore. With the quarry shut down, we can't get any Reval ore. If things keep up like this, eventually we won't have any goods left to sell. I wish Adonis would at least act a little more concerned about the fate of the shop. At least I'm purchasing from you, right? Yeah, that'd be nice, but we can't afford it. But we can get the large shield and the plate mail, with not a lot of gold to spare. And next will be the bandit's lair, the bandit shield, and the bandit mail. But we already have enough items to be able to do this. The large shield is large enough to cover half the body, provides very high defense. And the plate mail, made of solid metal plates. Very high defense, hard to move in. Won't slow us down though. And we look like this. Awesome, am I right? So Chester's gone to work for the Count, has he? Man, I sure misjudged that kid. I never thought he'd just toss his sister aside like that, much less serve as a lapdog of someone like McGuire. I guess after all he's after is status and prestige. Yeah, really no point in tempering equipment. I mean, you can, and it's especially useful if you need that little extra punch. But before we go to the next dungeon, there's something we can do now that I've been wanting to do for a while. But